It's Mambo Day, everybody. Mambo Day. All right. So let's do this. All right. Now, all right. So the Mambo, I'm going to show you a couple of Mambo variations. I'm going to go between the traditional Mambo and the contemporary Mambo. In the Big Five live stream I did a few days ago, I did the contemporary Mambo, right? But for the most part, Mambo has a few moving parts. Certainly the cascara, right? Definitely the cascara and the clave, okay? Particularly the 3/2 clave, right, and the 3/2 cascara pattern, right? But there's also other variations like the Mambo Montuno bell pattern, right? And I'm going to explain some of these. But now, before I get into some of this, just understand that the basic foundations are your cascara and your clave, right? So, we have our 3/2 cascara. And if I play a clave pattern on my snare drum with the cascara, so let's say I have a 3/2 rumba clave, this is what it would sound like. Okay, now all these work with the Mambo, right? You don't have to have a cascara on there. You can have, which I will demonstrate in this video, you can have, your Mambo Montuno pattern, you can have the bongo bell, or you can have a cascara. Right? And there's a few others, but I'm not going to cover everything today. Okay. All right, so one of the things you can do is you can have your Montuno rhythm, okay? And your Montuno, or Mambo Montuno rhythm, right, is as such. And there's a lot of variations of that as well, okay? This doesn't just stay the same, okay? There's lots of variations, okay? There's different cowbell variations or different ride cymbal variations for that. I mean, Afro-Cuban is so detailed, and the more I delve into Afro-Cuban, or the more I have delved into it over the years, and the more I continue to, the more I realize how much is involved. So that's the thing, is there's so much involved. You really gotta, just sit at your kit and hash it out. It's not stuff that comes overnight. You know what I mean? So anyway, so with your Mambo Montuno, right? Right, you can have your son clave with that. Or you can have your rumba clave with it. Whoops, right? Right. So that's one way to play the Mambo, but for the most part, in traditional Mambo, the Mambo has a snare drum or a rim click, whichever you want to do. I mean, I'm going to explain a couple various ways to play the Mambo, but one of the ways you can do it is you have a snare drum click on beat 2, and then right after that you have a bass drum on the end 2. So 1, 2 hand, okay, and you have a tom hit on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, that, you can play the Cascara, or the 3-2 Cascara. What I'm doing here with the left hand, okay, I'm playing the conga parts. Remember I mentioned that in the couple streams that I've done on Afro-Cuban. I'm playing the percussive conga parts, right? That the conga players will play, right? That's what's going on. And here on the ride some with the Cascara, that's usually what the timbali player will play on the side, either on the side of the timbali, which has a specific sound, or on a cowbell, right? Or they would have a small little cymbal they could play up there, attached to the timbali, okay? Which I mentioned before, the timbali is a round drum that is probably a little bigger than the snare drum. Right, and it doesn't have a snare sound. It has a very open, tinny sound. Okay, but anyway, getting back to the traditional mambo, you could play this pattern. Okay, a couple ways. You can also you can add eighth notes to this particular drum, right? On beat 4, so it'd be on 4 on the end of 4, right? So this is how you would play it. And as far as the hi-hat goes, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. You can play it on beat 1, you can play it on 1 and 3, on beats 2 and 4. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with this. Okay. So, I mean, there's just a lot, and I'm not going to cover everything today, but I'm going to cover the essentials of the essentials. Okay. So that's something you can do. All right. You can vary that between your one hit on beat 4 or 2 eighth note hits on beat 4, right? You can add the floor tom if you want. Right, just to kind of vary up, And if you have different drums, like some people have a second tom here, and I have it somewhere. I just don't know where it is. Oh, okay. So, I have one. So, yeah, you can do that. I mean, if you don't want to go to your floor tom, you can use those 2 drums. I mean, as long as one is lower than the other, in tone, then you're fine. Okay. Another thing you can do is, I'm going to introduce now the bongo bell. Okay, so now usually this is done on a cowbell, right? But I'm going to demonstrate it on the ride cymbal. Okay, so the bongo bell is 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted it wrong because I counted too slow. 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1. Okay. Now, how you put it on the rider, the cowbell, is such. Okay, so you can add that into your mambo. Sometimes I like to vary up the patterns. I don't always play that particular bongo bell ostinato. I might vary it up a little, Right? So I'll do that, right? And I might do some different patterns, instead of just keep it to my left hand, I might vary things up a little. Like I might start playing, some different patterns, like on the snare, stuff like that, and start varying it up. Right. So if I did this, and I start adding some cool patterns up here, it could sound really cool. Right? Sorry, I meant to put my bass drum on beat on the end of 2. Right. So some people they just keep the bongo bell. Excuse me. Some people just keep the bongo bell to something as simple as this. Just for consistency's sake, right? So that you don't lose the pattern. So I like to do that because it's at times if I'm playing something particularly difficult, I want a simpler ostinato on my cabo or my ride, right? So now, speaking of bass drum patterns, you can also play a bass drum on beat 4 on all those measures if you like. So instead of 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, it can be 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. So if you're gonna play this and that bass drum pattern, what it sounds like. Let me start over. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so you can see how involved it gets, right? It gets very involved and sometimes just downright difficult. As a matter of fact, I was playing that too fast for myself. Because, I'm not a fast player when it comes to Afro-Cuban. You know what I mean? I like the slower stuff, That stuff, right? But then when it comes to the Sango stuff and the Mozambique stuff, I like to really, that's where I like the faster speed, right? So now, that's mainly your traditional mambo, right? I probably left some things out, but that's okay. I'm not going to cover everything in this lecture. But now, I played the Contemporary Mambo for you guys already, out of Kim Plainfield's book. That was always my go-to when it came to mambo, right? His version was this. So what he liked to do was first of all, that was in that particular mambo pattern of his was in a 2-3, right, clave and 2-3 cascara. So he liked to put the cascara in the beginning, and then the second measure, kind of that variation. He liked to put in that variation of the mambo montuno pattern. So it was very clever, right? When I was studying with him, he gave me a boatload of variations. Of mambo, but that's for more of an advanced video or a live stream. But you can see how different they are. In the traditional and the contemporary. One is more. While the other was more backbeat heavy, right? down the contemporary mambo now. Okay, I wasn't going to before, but I just changed my mind. I'm going to do it. So here's what it is. Okay, that's the first measure. That's the first measure with your bass drum and your snare drum. Okay. The bass drums are on beats 1 and the end of 2, and then your snares on beats 2 and 3. Right, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Right. And you have on the second measure, you have a snare on beat 1, a bass drum on the end of 2, and a snare on the end of 4. So you have. Okay. On the right, what he did was he did the first part of a 2-3 Cosgrove. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay. And then on the second measure, he did 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. So it's on the end of 1, 2, and the end of 2, 1 and 2 and. All right. The end of 3, 4, and the end of 4, 3 and 4 and. All right, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so you just took out 2 notes. All right, you took out beat 1 and 3, at least the downbeat. Okay, so the whole thing is 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, I'll slow that down. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you put the whole thing together. So that's what it becomes. Now, there are lots of, like I said in the beginning, there are lots of ride cymbal or cowbell variations. There's tons of them. I can't do a lot today. Because there's just way too much to cover, including I can't give everything away. But for the most part, that is, those are where your most of your mambo patterns lie. Okay, so it's quite a genre, the Afro-Cuban genre. I mean, there's so much to it. So like I've been mentioning, it's so detailed and so, it's so involved and detailed. It really takes time to really delve into all those different rhythms, which, I mean, I'm not even close to being done with most of them, at least teaching-wise. Because a lot of my students are learning most of the Afro-Cuban stuff, and some of it, I'm not gonna lie, some of the stuff is hard, and that's just the way it is. Some of the stuff is hard, and the best way, if you're an educator, the best thing you can do for people is to break it down for them. That's when it becomes beginner friendly. I've always said to people, when people ask me, "Oh, that's advanced for people. How do you make it?" How is a beginner supposed to get that? And I say, by slowing it down. That's how you do it. That's how you make it beginner friendly. That's how you make it. That's how you take something to a beginner level, is you slow it down and you break it down. And that's how you do it. And then they just have to build up their speed. That's it. All right. So that's the mambo. And, I'm going to cover the other ride and cowbell variations in a different video, because I'm not trying to make these live streams be like, everything about that particular style, because there's just way too much to cover. So I have to pick and choose, right? So hopefully some of you guys will get, these get helpful tips from this video. There's not really any more updates from what I've already said in the past few live streams. If you haven't already, pick up the Afro-Cuban book. It's pretty good that I just released. And I'm going to do a different book on Afro-Cuban. It's going to be a lot more involved than the one that just came out. Because the one that just came out is mainly dealing with stick control exercises with cascaras on top of it. And it's really just to break that, break any syncopation issues or, to kind of free up your limbs a little bit, And some other people have done that. I mean, I know Daphnis Prieto has done something like that. He's at a whole different level. A whole different level. So that's it. I don't have anything else for you guys today. So tomorrow will be the Sango. I'm looking forward to that because that's a good one. Tomorrow's the Sango. So enjoy yourselves. Stay healthy. Stay home. Don't be infecting people. If you're infected, don't go outside. Because I hear that we're supposed to be getting some kind of a peak or an apex or whatever. So whatever that means. I don't really get it. This whole virus thing. Really a plague, like our president was saying before. It's and I thought that too. It's a plague. It's it's killing people. It's a plague. It's not a virus. Viruses don't usually kill people. You know what I mean? Like, except for the other few we've had, but this is just taking people out left and right. So mainly older people. So that's all. That's all I got for today. So keep busy, keep productive, do something that you enjoy. If you want to take drum lessons, my Skype slots are some of them are still available. So if you want something to do, some drum lessons, come take some lessons. Okay, so other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow.